welcome to thy kingdom. It is with great honor and pleasure that I declare the water officially purified. Bring the oxen, let the festivities begin. It does seem a little royal, doesn't it? It feels like, I'm a king at this castle. I mean, it's been called a lot of things. I don't know if it's actually played the role of a castle, much more in the movies of prisons and hospitals, but I get this real royal feeling. Welcome aboard, my friends. It is Friday, August the 6th. Welcome to another live stream adventure here on the Here and There show. My name is Anwar. If you're joining us for the first time, so good of you to give some of your valuable time with us. We're going to have a lot of fun today. This is the largest water treatment plant in the city. If you live in Toronto and you made yourself a cup of coffee, or maybe you had a shower this morning, at least I hope you had a shower, you very likely got the water from here. And that's what makes this place really special, because it is, the largest water treatment plant in the city. And I'm going to show you a little bit inside. We'll do some images, and we'll also talk about the very cool story on how it really came to be, because the history of this is really quite cool, the whole story, the man who envisioned all of this, R.C. Harris. So we'll get into that. We have a very fun show. I'm dropping everything here. First of all, it is hot. I'm wearing my hat again today because, man, we're going to get heat stroke, and I'm worried about Vern. He's got an IV drip of iced coffee going on his face right now. I'm not giving you CPR, just so you know. You're on your own.
Come on, mouth to mouth.
Oh, boy. My goodness, we just went into a different type of show, didn't we? We got a real cool show, though. We're going to do the nod to nature. I want to show you a very neat video that's gone viral. Was it a UFO at a national park in Alaska? I'll let you be the judge. Plus the weekend forecast. You'll want to head to the beach. We're going to see human X readings approaching 40 degrees. Those details coming up. And speaking of which, we're also going to celebrate the dog days of summer. I want to show some of your pooch pics on next week's show. So I'll let you know. You can send your images, and we can celebrate the dog days of summer. But we're going to start off with the AKQ, the Anwar Night Query. Watch the bike, Vern. Make sure he doesn't take you down, because he's got a real mean face. Cyclist is going by, sorry. I'm always looking out for the guys, you see? Always looking out for them. The AKQ, this is based from a new survey that just came out, and it says that we're swearing now more than ever, on average 16 times a day. Now, Vern does that before breakfast. That's from the morning pee to the coffee maker. That's how he gets up. But the question is, now it might be related to COVID, right? Frustration, I'm not sure. But the AKQ, the Anwar Night Query is, what is that word that you use to substitute for a swear word? I've got 2 young kids. We don't do a lot of swearing. Like I will say shipple sticks. But when they were shipple sticks, and I've said that many times to Vern. But the thing is, as little kids, when they were really young, we even didn't want to use the word idiot, so we'd say icicles. If we're driving on the highway and a guy cuts us off, "Ah, you icicle!" And they never really got it, the kids, but we got our frustration out. But that's what I'm asking you today, the AKQ. Is there a substitute word in your household or something you use to replace a swear word? Dare I ask you, gents?
Oh, boy.
No.
That frigamajig.
Frigamajig.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
And Ricardo's like, he's whole.
No censorship here.
No censorship.
He knows all the languages.
Yes, that's true. He's a man of...
I do it in 4 languages.
In 4 languages. Maybe we should do that as a feature one day, and we'll just bleep it out. But that's the question I'm asking you for today. It's interesting, though. Science has said that there's a proven link, though, to profanity and honesty. It suggests that people who curse lie less and have higher levels of integrity.
Do you believe that?
Well, shipple sticks.
Yeah.
Yes, speaking from Ricardo, yes, right? So it's interesting. So just because you swear doesn't mean you're a bad person unless you do it at church or to a little kid on the street. But I thought that was really kind of cool. Now, we want to say hello already to some people here who are joining us, and I have to use my shield with the sun. Donna's joining us. Tammy, good afternoon from Fenelon Falls. Nice to have you along, Tammy. Appreciate that. Christopher says, yay, thank you. Zainer says, hello. Nice to have you, Zainer. Joanna's joining us. Mary, Lois. Oh, poop. Yeah, I clean a lot of poop. You know, when my babies were so young, I did 2 kids' diapers, a cat and a dog. It was poop central. But there you go. Oh, poop. Okay, well, that's good enough. Yeah, Lonnie says shoot. Laura says nuts. Ron says good afternoon, and to everyone who's watching. Catherine says great to see you again. No swear word replacements here in Toronto. We do lie less and have higher levels of integrity. Well, okay. You know, there's something to be said about that, right? You just let it go. I think that's very true. Now, I wanted to talk about you know, dogs. We're going to move down, actually we'll move up a little bit, and you can see the view of the lake, by the way. And, you know, this is a very common spot for people to do exercise and also bring their dogs. Plus, the lake is a big draw as well, easy access to it. But the dog days of summer, we have to watch out for this van coming up here. I'll just get off to the side as we stream live at the R.C. Harris water filtration plant. Here and there, every Friday at 1 o'clock. We're just going to let this truck go by here. The dog days of summer, though, officially wraps up next week. It's July 3rd to August the 11th. And, you know, traditionally that relates to the hottest days, the traditional hottest days of the summer. And reality is, though, that changes quite a bit now with climate change. But I thought, why don't we end it in a tail-wagging style and celebrate it with your dog? And look, there's somebody on a boat now coming. What a beautiful, beautiful day to be out on the water, my goodness. And we saw many dogs come up also that had a bath. But if you want to send your pictures in, we would love to see that. And that is your pooch pics. Now, ideally, it would be great if you sent in a picture of your dog enjoying some summer fun. But it doesn't have to be exclusively. You know, if your dog's in a Speedo sitting on a back deck, I'm okay with that too, right? Just relaxing. So I need a picture of your pooch enjoying the summer. I need the dog's name. I need your name, the town you're from. And also, you know, one personality trait that makes your dog so exceptional, and send it to me via email at hereandtherelive@gmail.com, okay? So that's what you want to do. Send me the picture, hereandtherelive@gmail.com. I'll definitely post this as well on the re-rack of the show. But let's celebrate the dog days of summer. We'll get that on for next week's show. Sound like a plan? Good. Okay. And I appreciate you guys, your patience here as we continue to stream live at the R.C. Harris Water Treatment Facility in Toronto. Joyce is joining us. Fiddle Faddle. Oh, I love that one. Fiddle Faddle. I like that. Fiddle Faddle is very cool. And Alan says the lake looks a little hazy. Yeah, it certainly is out there. Peter says Flagglepuff. What? I don't know if I could say that if I was really angry, if that would really work for me. Flagglepuff. But you know what? More power to you. Giselle gives us a thumbs up. And also Haley says hello. Donna is watching, so we appreciate all of you guys joining us so far. Now, I wanted to talk a little bit about, you know, the history of this place, because it really is a fascinating story. And, you know, firstly, if you're a big movie buff or TV show buff, this facility, as I mentioned off the top, has been used in numerous productions. You know, whether it's the Flashpoint or RoboCop the series, the Hollywood film Regression was filmed here, as well as the comedy Half Baked. Most of the time it was the exterior, and you could see they could utilize this in a variety of capacities in terms of what they wanted to portray. But it was all conceived from a gentleman by the name of Ronald Caldwell Harris, so R.C. Harris. And, you know, some people credit him to really making Toronto what it is, because he was the city's longest-serving works commissioner, and it was under his tenure that over 1,000 kilometers of road was paved, and also he, you know, did the Bloor Viaduct. You know, and he had the hindsight of saying what we need in the city for the future. So it was really quite something. And he loved photography. Very rare you'd catch him. So I'm going to show you a picture of what he looks like. But very rare would you catch him without a camera around his neck. He also developed his own films. He took apparently thousands of pictures, especially of some of the work that was done in the city. And he was adamant about public health for residents in the city, almost to a fault, because he would butt heads with a lot of city officials trying to get things done. But there was a personal connection on why he wanted to get this plant done here. So, you know, a couple of things I wanted to point out. First of all, he had a 6-month-old son by the name of Emerson who died from a bacterial infection, and it was believed it was linked to the contaminated water. So that in itself, he said, look, this has got to change. We've got to do something differently here. So his vision was for safe, clean drinking water for everyone. And it took many years, you know, when he first conceived it, to get everybody on board. It was delayed, and then construction on this building started in 1932, opening almost 10 years later. And since, you know, he opened it, under his term, the infant mortality rate dropped significantly. In fact, Toronto, because of this water plant, became a model of public health in North America. They said, what are they doing in Toronto? And he always knew that he wanted to build for the future. Now, I want to show you a bird's eye view. Ricardo shot some beautiful video, and it gives you the scope, the size of this. So let's roll that, and you'll get a good idea on what it looks like from the sky. Because the layout, I mean, this is a very large facility, and it was rumored to be actually an old amusement park here. But when you see the footprint from the sky, you'll see that it is very large. So rumored there was an amusement park here. But the reason they chose it was apparently the water quality in this part of the city was quite good. So they had the space, the quality was good, so they wanted to put it together. And, you know, it treats 950 million liters a day, and some of that water heads north as well. We use, on average, by the way, about 700 liters a day, average household. Vern, probably half that. Yes, Schipple sticks. It's one of 4 treatment plants, though, in the city. And a few years ago, you know, $20 million upgrade was done to the facility. And the city, by the way, tests the water every 4 hours. But is that not something? Just give you the sheer size of it. It really is a beautiful building, and it is. It's known for the Art Deco. It's the largest collection in the city, so really just stunning in terms of exterior. But you know, R.C. Harris, he always said that he wanted it so people can tour it. And that was the whole idea behind making it so beautiful. And that's why it was dubbed the Palace of Purification. So firstly, I want to show you a couple of pictures here. The first one will be inside. There are 3 structures here, right? So the first one that's closer to the lake, and I'm going to show you an image here, those are the massive pumps. The pumps are huge, and it's because they are literally getting the water from the lake. There are pipes now that are 2.5 kilometers out into the water. So those huge pumps, there's 3 pumps per pipe, they draw in the water. And I'm standing in one of the intake pipes. I mean, you could see how big it is. And it has to be, right? I mean, it's treating all this water, so it has to be certainly very large. But it's really quite something, and it is loud in there. You know, if you ever get a chance to go in, it has certainly changed over time. There was doors open, and then there were some security concerns. There still may be the odd opportunity. Now with COVID, things are pretty tight. But it really is amazing. But it is loud in there, my goodness. So the other thing I want to show you, and this is really quite something, is the inside and why it was called the Palace of Purification. So you have the 3 structures. The first was the pump house. The second is sort of the service building. And then here, up on top of the hill, this is all the filtration units. There are 20. And it's quite a process when they filter it. But look inside here. I mean, this is amazing just to see. You know, he knew that people were going to tour it, and he wanted to have, you know, all the marble, the brass, all the fixtures. I mean, it looks like actually the lobby of a hotel, which is quite something. So there's some pride in that regard. And again, why it was dubbed or nicknamed the Palace of Purification, because I don't think the average person would have any idea what goes on here. Right? You see from the outside, it looks pretty regal, you know, it's nicely kept. They've done a great job even on the exterior. But inside, they are pumping out water, and they are purifying it, and they are sending it back up all the way to Markham and through the city. Over 30% comes from here. So it's really quite something. So testament to R.C. Harris for wanting to make sure that, you know, this is something that is going to be celebrated by all residents. It really is an achievement, and it remains to that, and to this day, in fact, which is kind of cool. So here we get a bit of perspective again. We've gone a little higher, and the filters are at the top, and you can see as we look down here, and you have a nice proximity to the water, so it really is quite something. Now, let's get into our forecast, guys, and we're going to start off by letting you know that the forecast is brought to you by the Big Blue Marble Podcast. we invite you, my friends, to listen in to the undeniable stories of our changing planet and, of course, the people that are trying to save it. And we welcome you because there are so many great episodes there, and you can access it on your favorite podcast player as well at www.bigbluemarble.earth. So Kathy says, I listen and learn everything, something every Friday. Well, I appreciate that. Elizabeth is joining us, also Donna Seabrook. Sarah's giving a round of applause. And Alan says, I would make a great teacher. Well, as long as I can say shipple sticks. You know, or what was it, figgle faggle? What was it? You know, so Barbara's thanking us for the forecast. I appreciate that. And Barbara says, really interesting information on the water treatment plant. What a wonderful teaching moment for the children. You know, this you're absolutely right, it's very important, not just for kids, I think for everybody, because the reality is, you know, the connection is what you put down the drain in the sewers goes to the lake at some point and it comes right back to us. That is our drinking source, you know, and our bodies are made up, what, 60–70% water? So, you know, 70% of your body is Lake Ontario if you, you know, in around the GTA. Yeah. So we all have a part to play though, right, in terms of what you put down. This reminds me of a quick story, if you don't mind. I had a neighbor, this is going back about 15 years ago, and it was the end of the season. He was dumping his lawnmower oil into a sewer. And I was driving by into my home, and I stopped, and I'm like, what are you doing? And he's like, it's end of the season, it's dirty oil. I'm like, where do you think your drinking water comes from? And some people just don't understand it. They think you put it in a drain and it just goes off to some magical place. But the fact is, it gets filtered, it gets put through the system, and then it comes out your tap again. So we all have a role to play without question. And these are, you know, some of those filtration bays here. But look at the front entrance here. Is this not beautiful? I mean, it almost, you know, you could be using it, again, when we talk about movies, you know, maybe of a courthouse or a hotel. It really is striking. Pearl is joining us, also Amy, Judy, Joanne, and as we continue to scroll down, Pearl, and Sarah adds a beautiful location. Oh, Marcia is joining us from Charlottetown. Oh, wow. I wish and I hope we can go live eventually out in the East Coast. I would love to do PEI. Thank you very much for joining us. We really appreciate that. One of my favorite spots heading out into Eastern Canada. Beautiful landscape and beautiful people, so thank you for that. Also, Giselle says, love the little stories that you inject into your shows. Thank you so much. Amy is joining us. Forgive me using the paper. I've just got such a sun glare and I can't read otherwise, guys. Such beautiful architecture, says Lori, and I think that's the real signature about this. It has been acclaimed as a result of that, but it's just so unassuming because when you drive by it on Queen Street, you know, because that part is at street level more or less, but behind it, it goes all the way down to the lake. You don't understand how big it is and how beautiful it really is. So that's what we wanted to do, tell a bit of that story. Also, Savetka is joining us, Narita. Narita says, almost missed your show. Milton is getting cloudy and windy. Well, thanks for that instant forecast, Milton, Narita and Milton. And Janice Parker is also joining us for today. So I wanted to get into our nod to nature. I thought this was really cool. And this is out of Alaska, and it's gone viral. Is it a UFO? You be the judge. Take a look at this video and watch what appears to be a dome-like object, or is it a floating island? I don't know. You watch it and you tell me what you think it is. I was floored by this. So again, this is coming out of a national park in Alaska. It's the Glacier Bay National Park. And it has really gone viral because when it was first captured on video and sent out, it really, you go, what is that? And my automatic connection was, it must be an iceberg. It's linked to climate change. But it's not. So take a look. I mean, you can see it very clearly. And what do you think that is? So it's not what you think it is. It's not an island. It's not a piece of ice. In fact, it doesn't even exist. And not that it was trick photography, but according to the park reps, they said that it's just different densities meeting and the air's in the Earth's atmosphere, and it acts as a refracting lens, excuse me. So it's a mirage. It's the illusion and your brain is trying to connect those dots to process something. So your brain is thinking, oh, it's an island. It's connecting the images of the refracting light, but it doesn't exist. It's nothing there. Is that not the coolest thing? Because it looks like a large something that's sort of drifting in the water, and you figure it's got to be something. If it's not an iceberg, it's a piece of land or what have you. But it's not even there. It's just a mirage, and it's in part that your brain is trying to process what it's seeing, and it just sort of fills those voids and says, "Yep, that's what it is." I thought it was fascinating, and that's our nod to nature, because nature continues, to keep us guessing, keep us on our toes, and that's what I love the most about Mother Nature. It's just, it always amazes me and inspires me. So as we get close to wrapping up, I want to just show you as we go out here again to the lake, because if you want to come down here, you certainly can. It's Queen Street and Victoria Park Avenue. We are east of Kew Beach, Kew Gardens. And then there's a couple of, there's a road here in Nursewood, and there's free parking there, but good luck finding a spot. We were very lucky, but there are some paid parking spots around. But as you get here, you can take the kids, go for a little, explore. Look, there's people swimming in the lake here. It's always very quiet in terms of the Quotawan Beach. It's not like Cherry Beach or Ashbridges Bay, but a great spot to come and hang out and explore, and then talk to the kids again about the importance of water and the importance of what we put down the drain and where it comes back out, and the fact that this is one of 4 filtration plants in our city that is providing drinking water, and that's something we all, of course, need. So on that note, I'm going to ask you, my friends, kindly to show me a parade of hearts. John Shepard is adding, let me just cover that up. There's pictures on the net of boats flying due to water bending the light. Yes, you're right, John. That is so true. That's another very common mirage, if you will. Susan is joining us, Inez is watching, and also Elizabeth Washburn. And Barbara said that was cool. Yeah, it really was. So listen, I want to just plug the website again, or I should say the email address. If you want to get your pooch pics into me at hereandtherelive@gmail.com. That's hereandtherelive@gmail.com. We'll celebrate the dog days of summer next Friday at a brand new location. On that note, my friends, I thank you for joining me. I thank you for your time and indulging us with a few little, shipple stick issues. It happens.
Jason's been swearing a lot.
Yes, Jason, the technical director back in his home studio, he's been letting a lot of steam out. Thankfully, we don't have a microphone into him, but I appreciate you supporting what we're trying to do. And please like, love, share, and follow the page. We'll be at it again next Friday, and we'll continue to do what we're doing, celebrating communities, nature, spaces, those little pinpoints on a map, and telling the story on why they're there and why it's important and why you should visit. All right? On that note, my friends, thank you so much. Have yourself a wonderful, safe weekend. I look forward to getting your pictures and having your company here and there. Take care.